On this episode of the Tristian Clunis Real Estate Podcast, we answer a ton of Ask Clunis questions. Please keep them coming. We love them. Plus, on last week's episode, we talk about why condos are better than houses, so it's only fair that we talk about why houses are better than condos. So make sure you like, comment, and subscribe below. Right there. Wes, right here. And let's start the show. What's up, everyone? Tristian Clunis here, and welcome to the Tristian Clunis Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, and I'm with my, again, protege slash guinea pig slash lesser co-host, Wesley Hype. Hey, Wes, hi. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Does it make you feel good to say that you're the host?
No, it's just because I am the host, right? So, I mean, it's just what it is.
Does Ronald McDonald chef all the burgers?
Here we go.
Like, can he just have his name on it? Like, does he own all the McDonald's? Does he manage them all?
Should he?
Should he? I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, well, I think they probably do better if he did.
Ronald is very comfortable just saying, you know what? Somebody might handle this better than I do. So let me just let it go.
Do you think that you're better
than Ronald? Yes.
So you think you're better than Ronald, and you think you should be hosting?
Oh, I'm better than you. I'm better than Ronald. You're not better than.
You're not better than Ronald. Don't you ever say that again.
Ronald asked me for advice. I have a Ronald how to do
Let's
stuff.
Let's get back to the podcast, clearly, because we get so off topic.
Yeah,
this
it's your
is
fault.
Our third episode.
It is. No,
fourth episode.
Bro.
Jeez, I'm doing a damn it. He has way more
terrible job. No, but
this is our fourth episode. Go ahead.
You know why you said that? You wanted to cancel the second one.
Yeah, guys, the second one wasn't good. You're gonna see the clips. I don't even know if we're gonna put it up. We probably should.
No, we're gonna put up the second one.
But we should even. I wonder if we had the outtakes from the second one, because the second one was.
Oh yeah, we had the outtakes.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You love to have that, eh?
We had the outtakes.
It was pretty bad.
You wanted to start over, and I was like,
I had a good start. The first episode was really good. It was smooth, and I was like, oh, buddy, I got this podcast thing, bro. This is easy. Second one was terrible. Yeah. It was an actual train wreck. I think we got like one or two clips, if that.
I deleted
If that, you deleted the whole thing. He deleted the whole.
No, I have it there in the archives in case I want to like blackmail you or something. But in terms of any actual usable knowledge, nah.
I was just a dud on
terrible.
Got it.
Terrible.
Anyway, the third one, he has no idea what he's talking about. The third one was a very great makeup, I would say.
Yeah, he came back.
Yeah, came back ready to go.
You're kind of like Kyle Lowry. You just never know when he's gonna show up.
No, wow, it's just us. First off, he's a doctor now. Do you know that?
Really?
Yeah, he got his doctorate from Acadia University.
Is that what he's doing every time he didn't show up for the games? He was studying.
Apparently, he was studying, and he has his honorary.
Doctoring those times.
Yeah, he's a doctor. So it's Dr. Tristian Clunis. If you're comparing me to Lowry, you might as well just throw that in there as well.
All right, cool.
That would only make sense.
Fair.
Anyway, so yeah, guys, this is the fourth episode. And of course, on this podcast, we talk about everything real estate. We kind of venture off onto all kinds of stuff as well. What we call tabs. We have a lot of tabs open. But yeah.
You know what happened? The first podcast, we had a lot of tabs. Okay. The second podcast, we had very minimal tabs, but the tabs that were open sucked. The third podcast, we pre-planned our tabs, and everything was opened and closed in a very
smooth manner.
Yeah.
And I think it's because I had more control on the third one.
Yeah, she had less. But anyways, we're going to start this segment now as I open a new tab called Ask Clunis.
Get that voice,
ready?
Man.
Ask Clunis. It's the same voice every time. The voice is not leaving.
Yeah, I would love for it to leave.
No.
Yeah, it would be awesome if it was just.
You'd actually pay for this voice.
No, nobody would.
They subcontract other people that are not on the podcast. No, they need the voice.
Do not do the voice. Anyways, go ahead.
Tristian.
What?
At first.
That doesn't even work.
Tristian. The first question comes from, let's start with Trin Phillips. She wants to know what is the average price for rent in Scarborough?
The average price for rent in Scarborough. Okay, so great question, Trin. I would give you for East Toronto, So it may incorporate East York, but the average 1-bedroom is just over $1,800.
Yep.
And the average 2-bedroom is just under $2,100.
Okay.
Now, those prices are pretty
those
low.
Those are some developments have happened.
Yes. So, I mean, if we're going to compare it to last year, like if we just take the GTA numbers, that is a 1-bedroom is down about, a 2-bedroom is down 13%.
Yes.
And a 1-bedroom is down 16.8% compared to last year.
Almost 17%.
Exactly, right? So almost 17% for a 1-bedroom and almost 13%. Oh, no, 13% right on the nose.
Yeah.
Compared to this time last year. So prices have obviously gone down for rent. Not obvious reasons, but because of the pandemic.
Let me stop you there. We spoke a lot about last week's amazing episode. We spoke about
because of me, of course.
because of me. Because we spoke of the condos. We spoke about investors. We spoke about investors a couple times. We spoke about the lack of immigration. Right. We spoke about a lot of different things have changed. But most of those related to the downtown core, where there was a lot of migration from the outskirts into downtown. A lot of the foreign students and all that would come right into downtown.
Right.
What is the reason for the change? Would you say in like a Scarborough, East Toronto?
I think it kind of spills over from downtown. Yeah. Like I think it's kind of just it's kind of a domino. Obviously, the majority of that downturn in terms of rent was in the downtown core, but it kind of spilled out.
Yeah,
from there.
I mean, they do have schools in Scarborough too.
Yeah, but they do. But with that being said, though, like if you look at places like Durham, Durham rent was phenomenal.
Yeah,
Durham rent is insane. Like you can't get a rental right now in Durham without paying a significant amount compared to the previous year, right? And there's multiple offers. Funny enough, multiple offers on Durham properties right now.
Yeah.
So it just depends. Like that was the whole vibe.
I'm picturing almost like a ripple effect, a bullseye. So the further away from Toronto that you get, you still might feel some of the effects, but it gets lesser and lesser as you go out.
But it was not only that, but it was the opposite effect in Durham. So Durham, because everybody was moving, people were moving out of downtown, and they were moving to the suburbs.
Like a ripple and then a new ripple.
And then exactly that, right? People were moving out of downtown, and then they were like, because for one, you're able to, it's still even cheaper, to be honest with you, for you to get a place down in Whitby or in Oshawa or whatever case compared to downtown Toronto. So a lot of people were moving out there. They don't want to be in the city. They can't take advantage of the amenities. They couldn't take advantage of going to a restaurant or whatever the case may be.
I want to go to my gym. I want to go to my gym. And not the gym that no one's paying for right now because like it's locked down. The gym that comes with my maintenance fees. I want to go to that one.
Too.
An amazing gym.
Your amenities are pretty solid. Yeah.
I want to go to my gym, bro. But yeah, I understand how that would be a factor. I have another question I'm gonna actually lead right into. I hope Trin that answered your question.
Yeah, Trin. So you're looking at around, as I said, around $1,800 for a 1 and around $2,100 for a 2, and that is like your average. You're going to find stuff that are going to be potentially more, potentially less.
And why, before I just flowed right in, I wanted to acknowledge the next question. The next question does come from Monet Graham. And she says, how much longer do you think we're going to be in this low rent bubble?
That's a good question.
And you see how they intertwine?
Yeah, you know what? He's doing a good job, guys. He's actually doing an okay job. That is a great question. People, because right now people are getting like condos downtown for like how much are like condos going? Like you're right downtown for rent. They're like what, $1,500?
I do my refresh on the condo websites just to make sure that I'm not getting ripped off on my rent every so often.
You're completely up to date with it, right?
Yeah, it's to be honest with you, it's down about 20%, I'd say.
And that's
off. Like, I'm not going off any stats that are in with the
I have
actual
the stats. But you're actually going
perception,
through it and you're seeing it.
Yes.
So I want to get your opinion on it.
$2,500 a month is now about $2,000 a month.
That's crazy. $500 difference.
Yeah.
Think about how insane that is within a year. Within months because of the pandemic.
It's crazy.
Right? Which we would never, it was going the opposite direction. In a couple of years, we were seeing, your 1 bedroom is probably going to be worth $3,000 a month.
Yeah,
you
and
know?
it's a unique position. Towards the beginning of this pandemic, I was gonna lock in at. I kind of proposed the idea. Hey, you know what? I'm out of work right now.
Right.
I work in entertainment. Entertainment shut down. Why don't we do this? I will guarantee you that I will not be even a day late with my payment.
Right.
If you lock in at such and such price. And they're just like, oh, well, we'll go month to month. We'll knock some dollars off, but we go month to month. If they had locked in at that price with me a year ago, they would have actually done better.
Right.
Because I didn't see this lasting for a year. So I'm like, I'm going to take advantage of this and try to lock in.
Backfired.
You'd only raise your price, what is it, like a couple percent, a couple points year over year.
Yeah.
So had I locked them into a cheaper price, they could only increase it on me little by little by little.
Right.
And it would take a good years, 5-6 years before they get back to the old rent that they were getting, right? But the problem is they're if I were to leave, they'd be doing that anyways. To get a tenant in there, no one's gonna lock in at the price that I was paying 3 years ago when I first got down there.
Right.
It's an interesting time.
Very, very
It's
interesting.
a very interesting time.
But like to answer your question, sorry.
we got way off topic.
Go ahead and ask again.
When is the bubble? When are we gonna see the end of this low
So
rent bubble?
I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna last long.
Yeah.
I think we're already seeing the change in market in terms of rents starting to slowly come back
up. Yeah.
Right. And I say that it's not going to last long because I think it's going to go it's going to be in the complete opposite direction very, very soon. Guys, we are on borrowed time right now. Yeah. We are on borrowed time. The city is handicapped right now. We're doing all this. If you think the market is crazy right now, we're doing all this without tourism, without new immigrants, without international students, without in the downtown core in terms of rent, without the domestic students that were coming from like your Oshawas or your Bramptons that don't want to live home, they don't want to commute, they want to actually be close to school, whether they go to Ryerson or UOT or whatever. Yep. We're doing it without all of that demand that's coming.
Yep.
So the second that demand comes back, the second that the vaccinations start to get around and the whole nine, which is already started, which we already seen, and the borders open up, I strongly believe that the rental market is going to skyrocket. Yeah. Price and demand. Not only that, I also believe that the prices, we're experiencing somewhat of a cool off right now, but I think the prices are going to start to jump again as well. So
yeah, I agree. I
hope that answers your question.
It's very much in relation to everything else that's happening in the world, so to speak. As more places start to open up, like I know that downtown. My reason for feeling like I want to leave downtown is there's nothing to do downtown.
Yeah.
So that migration, I feel that would come back into downtown, which would then ripple out into all areas like you mentioned earlier, is really businesses opening back up. Us getting back. Rogers Centers is closed. Yeah. I'm right across from Rogers Center. Rogers Center's closed. ACC's closed. Like all these restaurants are closed.
CN Tower, all that
Tower's
stuff.
closed. So as long as those things are the whole path, the underground, all the restaurants and shops, they're all closed. So as long as those things aren't available, the benefits of living in an area like that aren't there. As soon as the benefits come back.
Right.
On top of immigration, like you said, even that's actually kind of the same thing. When the benefits come back, that's when people migrate back into the city. Yep. Immigration opens up. I mean, even if they wanted to, they probably couldn't right now. But the incentives are all there, and everything comes right back up.
And they're coming with, when they come, they're not like I said it. I've said it on the previous podcast.
Yeah, keep saying it.
I need to say it.
Keep saying
they're
it.
not coming like how our parents came or our grandparents came. They're coming with money. They're coming with their down payment. As I said, 75% of them have their down payment saved up already. Yep. 75% of them already have their down payment saved up. So they're coming to the country with money, with new skills, and they're only staying within they're saying that within 3 years, they're going from rent to buy. Yeah. So that's when you hear stuff like that, you have to say, right now is the time to buy, or right now is the time to, whatever you're thinking about doing in terms of buying, I would suggest for it to happen now. I don't see the market plummeting the way people think or something. It may cool off, but I don't see it dropping, and I do still see a surge coming. It's on the rise.
It's coming. It's inevitable, man.
Yeah.
Miss to Mrs. wants to know, can a storefront commercial unit be used as a residential home without a permit?
Short answer, no.
Sounded like a no.
Yeah. So no. If you don't have a permit, if it's not zoned, if the commercial property is not zoned or permitted to have residential use, then no. I mean, you can't do that. Soon, either the business will get in trouble, and or the landlord of the business of the building will also get in trouble if the city was to find out, or whatever the case may be. So short answer is no.
Yeah.
Are there situations where there's like and we've all seen it, where you have like a convenience store, or you have whatever type of store front
with like a
apartment upstairs, exactly, or in the back.
Kim's Convenience. There you go. In the front or in the back, then yes, of course, it's permitted for that use. It's zoned for mixed use, where it has residential and also the commercial side of it. Yeah.
Right. But if it's only deemed commercial and the commercial does not permit at all any type of residential living, then no, it's not permitted.
Yeah, we don't recommend it.
We do not recommend it. It's illegal, unfortunately.
Also, there's completely different rules as far as your rights as a residential.
Well, exactly that, right? So if you're a resident and you live in a property, you're under the Residential Tenancy Act. The Residential Tenancy Act is, if you're a tenant, phenomenal. Yeah. It is great for a tenant. A lot of landlords hate it because there's so many restrictions, and it could take forever for you to get a tenant out, even if they're not paying the rent, right? So you're protected under the Residential Tenancy Act when you live in a residential property.
Yes.
If you're in a commercial property, then you're governed under the Commercial Tenancy Act, which is I don't want to say lawless. There are laws, but
the wild west
compared to residential, right?
Yeah.
The landlords have a lot of control. They can kick you out for obviously with good reason. They can literally lock the doors on you.
Yeah.
If you weren't paying your rent or whatever the case would be, they can lock the doors. You can come to your property that you have all your stuff in, and come to locked doors, like literally with a chain lock on it, if they have the right to do so, right? That will never happen. Very unlikely to happen in residential, right? So you're going to be governed under the Residential Tenancy Act if you're in a permitted residential property.
Yep.
And obviously, the Tenancy Act is different for commercial.
So don't try to go around the thing. Is basically what you're saying.
I wouldn't recommend the thing.
When you try to go around the thing, you put yourself at risk.
It doesn't.
Get strung up by the thing.
Wow.
Don't go around it. Strung up by, I don't know. It could be by your feet or something. Strung up by the thing.
He just got very violent.
Yeah, it's pretty violent.
Sometimes he's scared. Sometimes Wes scares me. I don't know where he goes with these things, but yeah,
these are things. Hey, listen.
Hey, man.
When I speak, that's like something my grandfather would have told me.
You'll get strung up by the ting.
Yeah.
So whatever that ting is, you'll get strung up.
Those don't hear must feel.
Well, then, hey guys, that's the conclusion to that question, I guess, right? I mean, what else can we say there?
Cello wants to know: is it a good idea to list your pre-construction before you close?
Listing your pre-construction before you close.
Yes.
If you list your pre-construction before you close, that's technically an assignment, because you don't actually own your property. So guys, when you buy new construction, until you close on a property, even though you bought it 2-3 years ago, you technically don't own it. Right? Like you own it when you close on it. When you have a mortgage on it, you move in the whole night, you get the keys.
To purchase
you have the right, exactly. So what they would do is, some of these builders, they'll give you what we call an assignment. So they'll allow you to assign, which is the right to assign. It's just the right. You have the right to sign the paperwork. Because when you sign on the paper, when you go to buy new construction, you're really you own this. You own the paperwork, right? You don't own the actual unit. You don't own the house.
Yeah.
And the builder will allow you to take that paperwork and assign it to somebody else.
Oh, thank you. I'll take that.
I will not do that. You're not you're not the captain now.
Okay.
Now with that being said, yes, if the builder permits you to assign a property, then yes, you can assign it. There's some builders that won't allow you to assign it. I find that when you go into like the suburbs, it gets a little tricky. They more or less like you to close on the property. Mm-mm. Downtown core or in Toronto condos, they usually don't have a problem with you assigning. Sometimes they will charge you, whether up to 500 to it could be a 5,000 I've seen situations where they charge you like 10 grand, which is insane. I would say normally it's either they include it as an incentive, free assignment, or they'll charge you like a 500 or up to $5,000.
So that's something that you should really think about when you're looking into a pre-construction.
So when you're looking into pre-construction, good job. Thanks. When you're looking into pre-construction, one of the major things, and we're gonna have we're gonna do an episode for sure
on pre-construction,
and we're gonna focus on pre-construction, because one of the things that we definitely recommend, which Wes knows because he's always around me, is the option to assign. The assignment is crucial because anything could happen, especially when you're buying these properties 3-4 years out, and your situation is great right now, but in 3-4 years you may have lost your job, or somebody maybe you have to help a family member out, or whatever the situation is, and you no longer have the means to buy that property or the job to show income for that property. Correct. Or the credit. Yep. You want to be in a position where you can get out. And that's a great exit strategy, which is to assign the property before you actually close on the unit.
Yeah, like you did.
Like I did what?
Just had the assignment option available with
you're a snake. He's saying that he's a snake. Yeah, no, I don't have. We're buying new construction, and I don't have. I don't have that assignment clause. So certain builders, won't allow you to do it. I was okay, but because I bought it, snake. Put my business out there. I bought it, guys, and it's within the year that I'm going to be closing on the property. So that's the reason why I wasn't too worried about not being able to assign it. They still allow me to assign it, but it has to be to a family member.
Okay.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like whatever the situation may be, whether you had to come to a friend like me to bail you out of a situation,
which I don't know if it will be you. That
me
will
for
be
sure.
the friend.
Yeah, no, for me for sure.
I really doubt.
When times get rough, Tris, you got a friend in me.
That voice is terrible.
You got a friend.
We're just gonna sing the whole thing out. Okay, no, keep going. You might as well. Do you know the rest of the song? I knew, guys. I knew it. I knew that it was short-lived. That's all you know. That's the only part of the song you know, and that's it. You're acting like you knew the rest.
Did they have it in
like
just Toy Story 2, 3? I think it only was in 1.
Other words.
It was only in 1.
You got a friend in me. You
got a friend in me. Yeah. You should have filled in. You were supposed to pick it back up.
No,
clearly you're a friend I can't count on. But anyway. Listen, man. I'm seeing all of these things, like getting into the Ask Clunis stuff.
Yeah.
Preparing for to be make sure they can go toe to toe with you in these debates. I'm starting to pay a lot more attention to the real estate news. I'm seeing so much conflicting interpretations of the same data. Like it could be the same stat, but looked at from two completely different perspectives.
Right.
So I'm just wondering, how much does media, social media, whatever other type of media there is, influence like the actual market? Like, is it a thing where someone can just run with a stat and that actually comes to fruition based on these reports that, like?
Well, I mean, it's so interesting, right? I mean, we've had these discussions and I've had them with clients and different people. The best example would be even just April. We have our April stats now. We're obviously in May right now. But we had our April stats. They came in and they said 300. We're up in sales volume. We're up 359% compared to April 2020.
Astronomical.
359%. So we will see this, and they had it like blinking, like 359%. If somebody if they just ended there, which they did, which they did, which is very irresponsible, I would say. If they were to end it there and just put that headline
up there, yeah.
Wouldn't you think that the sky has fallen? Like you see that the sales are up because you already get a feel, even if you're not in real estate.
I mean, that depends on whose perspective you're looking at. From the seller's perspective, you're like,
oh my gosh, my house. And it's funny.
You're a quadrillionaire.
When they say sales, it's so funny because when they say sales, people think that, oh my gosh, my average price went up.
See, that's how I read it. That's how I read it.
Right? That's not the same. We're saying that.
So what is it? Liquidation?
We're just saying that sales happened at 300. Like when we look at sales, we're looking at how many transactions happened, how many deals happened, both ends. Right? That's what we look. That's what we consider sales. So, people see 359%, and you're right. Sellers will look at it and they'll be like, buddy, Yeah, we're talking about actual. This is like last week.
No, but I'm saying even what happened, just me. There's 3-4 different ways that you just gave me a stat, and you're trying to make your point. And as you're making your point, I'm off in 4 different directions,
right? Because
I'm not getting the rest of the information.
Right.
I'm just going by the first thing that you said, and it's taking me off into some place where we might not actually need to be.
No, and so let's make it clear. When you seen that stat, 359%. Sales volume. That does not mean average price.
Nothing to do with price.
That has nothing to do with price. That has to do with supply and demand. Now, it's important because it has to do with supply and demand, and that's how prices are affected.
Yes,
of course.
They're related.
100%, but they're not, it's not it.
Not the end all be all.
It's not it, right? So we see now that's one thing. The fact that, no, it's not your average price.
Correct.
So guys, let's just relax. The other thing is they're comparing it to probably, I don't think there's another month in history where literally the world stopped.
Armageddon.
Literally. Like if there's any month, if we try to look at the pandemic, we're now over a year now.
Yep.
Which month was like the most affected? By far, April. April, nobody knew what was going on. We were all at a standstill. We had no idea. Real estate pretty much stopped for April.
Yeah.
So you're comparing it to the
NBA
worst.
Stopped.
Everything, right?
Because what happened, like, just to recap, February, it was a Chinese problem.
Yeah, we had no idea.
We didn't
care less. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to say that. But
it's happening over there.
Guys, that's how our mentality was.
Yep.
We're just like, buddy, if it's happening, it's not happening here.
No. It's
way
their
over problem.
There.
Let them figure it out.
March,
and I feel like that's how the governments were treating it as well.
Everybody
was treating
Trump
it that
especially
way.
Doesn't even get it to Trump.
He's still treating it that way. Yeah, go on.
March now, it starts to hit home.
Well,
wait,
around March break.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They start to shut down, I believe, in like the second week of March.
Yeah, right.
So in April, it's literally Armageddon.
Everything was shut down.
Wow. Like this was a time when I'd say it peaked in the drinking challenges through Instagram, and DJing online started to be cool.
Yeah.
But
we got tired of all that very, very quickly.
Not only did we get tired of that, we were so busy with that we weren't selling our houses.
No, literally, you don't understand.
You weren't listing your house.
I don't think you understand. I had listings on the market during that time. When I mean things stopped, I mean literally things stopped. Now, you saw some very smart agents that had smart clients that were still willing to like take advantage of that time period, because when things stop, obviously sellers are now, if you're in a position, I know it's kind of, I don't want to say it's smart, but it is smart because the reason why I'm kind of hesitating because you're taking advantage of some of these situations.
Like, if somebody
has to sell, and now April comes and you're thinking you're going to get X amount for your house, but literally everything stops. The seller gets very, very like motivated, desperate in a way, right? So the smart agents were still were still showing their houses during that time, or doing showings with their buyers during that time to get deals. Because if I'm a seller, I need to sell. So even if I don't get my price, I still need to sell. Yeah. So that's what we were seeing. But literally, prices dropped. Sales, not as much prices, but sales dropped significantly.
And we just said, they're very very related. Although it's not the end all.
See,
and be
I almost
all.
made the mistake myself, right? Prices and sales. Sales dropped like it was at a standstill. So they're comparing that 359% April 2021 to April 2020 when the world stopped. It's not a fair assessment, because here's what they should be doing. And I'm going to read you a headline that what should happen. Volume of sales have jumped significantly, up almost 359% over April 2020 and up 50% over 2019.
Well, that's a pretty different statistic you got.
That is a better
man.
stat. The up 50% compared to 2019. 2020 is almost like 2020 April is like a throwaway month. Like, it's not a regular month. It's not a regular stat. It's like that blip. Like, we don't count that.
For the sports fans here, it's similar to a player playing a quarter of a game and then saying, game one last year in the playoffs, he had scored, or this year he's outscored himself by 4 times. When in game one last year, he got injured in the first quarter and didn't play 3 quarters of the game.
Correct.
You're comparing 2 completely different scenarios for that clickbait type of.
That's it. And that's all and the problem that I have is that all they care about is the clickbait. They don't care that
educating
that people are making decisions based on this. There's a lot of people that are not. Most people that are literally they have their CNNs or they'll have their their whatever CP24, whatever the CTV, and whatever that person says on the news.
Yeah.
Is gold. That is factual. That is what it is. So they're going to take that clickbait. They're going to take that headline and run with it and make decisions that are not without all the information.
Listen,
guys, it's not smart at all.
How about you get your weather and your crime reports from the news, and you come over here to the Tristian
Clunis Real Estate Podcast
for the real estate news.
For the real estate news, we got the nitty gritty. We'll go through it look, we were going through the stats right now. We've done it in previous podcast episodes. We got it under control.
You want to know what the talking backflipping dog is doing tomorrow? Go ahead to the lifestyle.
Tristian Clunis Real Estate Podcast.
The dog is fired. I canceled the dog. Had him scheduled, canceled him.
No, but that's a very important one for me because I'm always, I have clients call me and they will say, this happened and that, and I have to always educate them, let them know, no guys, no, let's get the full story.
When you have the most educated buyers that know more about real estate than you because they've depended on news sources like that and really have just conflicted all the information and convoluted all the messages and want to tell you about what's going on.
Those are the words it's the toughest. I hope you can get my son. It is the hardest ever when they come so wrong and strong.
That is what I was going for.
They will literally tell me, no, what are you talking about? My house is up 359%. What? do we have a sound effect for that, Chris? Crickets. Hold on. You gotta stop talking. Wes has to do his job. You can't laugh while you're doing the crickets. You have to hear the crickets.
I will no longer laugh at your jokes.
That's kind of weird.
Didn't last long.
Chris was supposed to put the crickets there. The one job that Chris had was literally just press the button that says crickets.
He didn't get the memo.
He didn't get the memo.
You didn't send him the memo.
Come on, man.
It's not his fault.
Keep going.
I want to talk to you a little bit more about houses and that because we did a segment last week. And it was about the benefits of a condo.
Yeah, compared to a house.
And as we're kind of talking about how much it's sorry, were those stats on all property types, the 359 and the 15 and all that?
Yeah, so that's all property types for GTA.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. But I do want to delve a little bit into to the houses. And before we do that, I just want to say I do have one other Ask Clunis question.
Let's get it.
And it's how much did you deposit into Emmanuel's account last week?
Chrissy,
hashtag
Crystal,
Ask Clunis.
Crystal Clunis, stop sending Ask Clunis questions that only relate to you. Nobody else is learning or getting any information from this.
Deposited?
Stop it,
sir.
Stop it. Stop asking. We have only a certain amount of questions. I'm guessing.
You just made up a quota there.
I just made it up, yes. And you're filling it with these Emmanuel questions. Stop doing it. I'll see you at home. Love you. Bye. I might get in trouble for this.
You might.
Go ahead,
you probably will.
I most likely will. Go ahead.
To get into this, you had the video about condos and why condos are so great, and also delving into the what do you call it, the vault. The vault of Tristian Clunis videos.
Sure.
Going through it, I found another video, and it was about the 4 reasons why houses. You didn't really pick a side. You went condos are better than houses, and then houses are better than condos. It's very down the middle for you. So I'm going to give you a chance to do that on this podcast as well. So all the benefits of a condo last week, and now the benefits of a house.
Yeah. So we went through the condos, and I kind of gave. I don't want to say I was destroying houses, but I was giving the favors.
It was a pro condo,
pro condo segment. Yeah. Exactly. But to be honest with you, I love both types. But yeah, let's talk about houses now. So, what are the pros of houses?
I'm just going to give you the headline, and I'm not going to go into any of the details, and we'll see how much your memory, how well you know your stuff here.
Snake. What a snake.
Quiz Clunis.
It's putting me on the spot.
Quiz Clunis question 1.
What a guy.
It says, you are a true owner.
So obviously, when you buy a condo, not obviously, but when you buy a condo, you're buying your unit. When you buy a house, just a simple answer, when you're buying a house, you're buying not only the property, the actual physical structure, you're also buying the land that it sits on.
Yeah.
So you have land rights in certain situations. You own the land and also the property that it sits on, right? Sorry, the property and the land that it sits on. So that's the differences between. Well, I mean, you could do things. If you're in a situation where you can knock it down, you can maybe be able to, if you had a bungalow on the property and it's a large lot, you may be able to knock it down and build your massive monster mansion that you may, your dream home that you've always wanted.
Yeah.
You're in a position where if you had the zoning and you have a massive lot on a small property, you may be able to tear that down and build a subdivision, a few homes, depending on how big your lot is. You might be able to build townhouses, semi-detached, depending on the zoning. There's so many more options. You're not just limited to just your unit, which you would be in your condo.
So what I gather from what you're saying is I can't knock down my condo.
I wouldn't suggest it. Knocking down your condo, you may have to answer.
I wanted to just knock it down.
Well,
and build
that's
a
another
hotel.
thing. You're gonna have to answer to somebody. I'm not sure if that's one of the things.
Can't knock down my
since
unit,
you're screwing everything up.
build a store.
You're gonna have to answer to someone, even if you were to do something like renovations. I don't even think that's in there.
No, it's not.
When you do major renovations in your condo, you have to answer to somebody.
Got you.
You have a condo corporation. Like if you were to knock down a wall in your condo and all that kind of stuff, for the most part, your condo corporation is going to want to know about it and approve of it. Approve it because you're changing the layout of the condo.
Understood.
So if you're changing the layout of the unit, that may be something that you would have to get permission for. Whereas obviously, if you live in a house, as long as you're being structurally safe, you can knock a wall down. You can do whatever you want within your home.
So basically, you're a true owner, like your caption said.
Yeah, just I just prefer things in the order that I made it. He wants to change it up, but that's fine.
Appreciation potential.
We've seen that condos, houses, I'm going to speak for Greater Toronto area, have been appreciating way faster than condos. Now, again, I say that because condos have also been doing great. They've been appreciating and they've been consistent. But we normally see the big jumps. The biggest jumps that usually happen when we see with the detached, with this example of this market right now, detached homes. Average house, for example, in Whitby is over $1 million.
Yeah.
Same thing for like your branches. Sorry, average detached home in Whitby is up over $1 million. You know what I mean? So like we're seeing situations where detached and when you own a house outright, they've been appreciating fairly quickly in GTA.
So although condos are doing good, it just seems like a much better.
But I say that because condos it's a solid investment, right?
Yeah.
Like it's consistent. They're consistently going up. They may not see the big jumps, but they're consistent with the increase in appreciation in that unit that you own. So
cool.
Yeah.
More living space.
More living space is self-explanatory, right? Most condos are small. Mind you, and we talked about it on our last segment, we're seeing that condos the builders are making these condos with 3 bedrooms and the 3+ dens and all that kind of stuff. Whereas before they were more focused on just the investors. So they were focused on the smaller units and try to pump as many out there as possible.
Yeah.
I'm finding that we're seeing that the builders are now seeing that people can't afford these detached homes. Mm-hmm. So they're making them with 3 bedrooms and the whole 9, just a lot larger. But yeah, you normally can have a lot more space in a house as opposed to a condo. So room to grow. If you have a growing family, it's usually a lot easier, a little better, I would say, with all that space.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like space.
I like space too.
And no maintenance fees.
Again, no maintenance fees. Mind you, I say that you do actually have maintenance fees. It's not, you have maintenance, not maintenance fees.
Yeah.
So with Condo Corporation, you have maintenance fees, which would include amenities that you may not even use, right? Like if you have a pool in your place and you've never touched it. You know how many people I know that have never been, have you been in your pool before?
Twice.
And you've been there for how long?
3 years.
Perfect example.
Both times when I brought my nephew.
When you brought your nephew, right? Yeah. Perfect example, right? So people are paying for those amenities every month and they're not even using them, right? So
Correct.
you're almost forced to. It'd be nice to be able to like
Opt into things.
opt in and opt out. So yeah, I know $30
like
here
those,
for my
TV
I don't want
packages,
that.
so I don't want
I want this.
CNN, no sports channel type of thing.
It's kind of all or nothing, right? So you still have you pay a maintenance fee for things that you may not even care for.
Yeah.
And the maintenance fees can jump. If there's a situation where there's like an insurance claim, or not even insurance, let's say the building for whatever reason gets sued because somebody fell or whatever the case may be, they're going to now go to you as a condo owner to say, hey, we need to make up. If we don't have enough in our fund, we're going to get you guys to make up. All the units have to make up for that balance, I guess you could say. And that also goes not just for like a situation where you're being sued, but also for situations where, for example, if they need to fix anything.
Yeah,
they
mismanage their property.
Or if you just need new carpet in the hallways, or if your elevators are starting to wear out and you need new elevators, all that can be expensive, and they're going to go to, if they don't have enough, they're going to assess your maintenance fees, and it can jump up significantly.
Yeah,
so.
Like in a perfect scenario, the condo board would already have budgeted and planned for those things, but you find oftentimes that, or sometimes at least, it doesn't go that way.
Right. And I gave I'll give a slight little pro for condos. You still do have maintenance for a house, right? Yeah. You're now responsible for your roof. You're responsible for all those things to maintain, right? Yeah. So that's the pro for condos, but
yeah, we did mention that.
Yeah, just want to throw that in there. Yeah.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
Is that it? You see, the first question was supposed to be the last question. I was going to hit him with that one. I don't like when the guy changes things, bro. Like he just wants to switch things up on me like that. Like I have things set up in my head, and you want to just don't care.
Go with the flow.
You just don't care. That's fine.
Got to be prepared, man.
No worries.
Squirrel.
Where?
Before we get out of here.
All right. You did a good job today.
I always do a good job.
No, today you did. Normally it's usually questionable.
I'm amazing.
Did you just do the laugh sound? Sorry, we didn't even get to hear that. Go ahead.
You know what? It's we don't get to hear it, but the audience at home hears it better than we do.
Got you. Sorry, I'm not a rookie at podcasting.
Yeah,
I've been podcasting forever.
What happens is it comes back through our microphones, and it gives a lot of feedback and sounds that you don't like. Me as Spielberg, the director, as well as the host of the podcast, as well as the organizer of your next question.
Let's see how you...
Kirk Franklin.
What is that? Cheering? You're cheering for him?
Thank you.
What is going on? Everybody, you know what? Everybody's fired. Get out. Everybody get out. Get out. Just get out. Sorry, go ahead. Ready? Yeah, go ahead. Sure.
No, but I saw you posted the Kirk Franklin clip. It was basically a clip of him going to his old
clip,
house.
Man.
Yeah, it was a powerful clip. It was a powerful clip. And he went to his if you guys haven't seen it, go check it out on the Instagram page. But he goes back to a house that I believe it was something like his adopted mother had given him the house.
Right.
And he had sold it for a low price.
Right.
And then he says, look what's happening now. And there's a huge development coming across the street. And he just speaks of kind of seeing things for its potential. Yeah,
there's a couple. There's so many pointers in there, but let's just touch on a couple. But like, for one, don't sell real estate. I'm trying to, even for myself personally, get into the idea of not selling real estate. So always keeping real estate, always like try to put yourself in a position where you never have to sell, because you can always benefit from it, whether you need to refinance and buy, take that money out and buy some more properties. Yeah. The second you sell it, you cut off all of that. Yeah. Plus, you never know how it can appreciate. We may have a great market, and the year after you sell, it just jumps. So one of the things that he's saying is, for one, what I got from that was, no, don't sell real estate. Just keep real estate. Try to do the long game, the buy and hold. That's the best strategy. People do make money other ways, flipping and all that. That's great. But I see that what stands the test of time is the buy and hold. Buy and hold. But then also just the mindset of, when you're in a position where you need to do something, whether to sell and all that, like when you're in a desperate situation, it's never a good time to make a decision. Always take time to think about what you're going to do and really think it through. Like he talks about the fact that he was in a tough time. He needed the money, so he sold it, and he pretty much gave it away. He's saying like he sold it for dirt cheap.
Yeah.
if he had somebody, let's say even a mentor to help him out to think it through, or if he was to, sit on it, just let me think this one and let me see if there's any opportunities in this property, it could change. It would have changed his whole world. There was a huge subdivision. That builder made millions. Yeah. You know what I mean? Right next to his, where he could probably have, or he probably has the exact same zoning, and he could have done the exact same. So I try to my takeaway from that is never make a decision when you're in a situation where you're desperate. Yeah. I will never want to make a decision while I'm desperate.
And then why I love the clip so much is obviously Kirk Franklin, big gospel singer. You know that there's that Christian element to it as well,
which
that
is
faith element to it as well,
right.
where he's basically speaking about like believing in that property and kind of holding on and waiting and not necessarily seeing the tangible, right?
Right.
Yeah, like
seeing past. No, I'm in exactly that. Like you're looking at that. That's a very great point, Wes. You're looking at this situation. It's an old bungalow. When you guys see the clip, it's like a little small, like it looks like a little, small bungalow that you can't do anything with. And he's just looking at it for what it is, not what it could be. You know what I mean? Like the potential in it. Like he was just seeing it as just like, this is a little shack. There's nothing I could do with it. This is, it's in a bad neighborhood, he was saying as well. Yeah. Again, he's making decisions based on the circumstances right now. Mm-hmm. It's in a bad neighborhood. Exactly. Bad neighborhood. It needs work. I don't have the money to put the work in. Meanwhile, that neighborhood was being, regentrified, and also it's the person next door is now putting up a big subdivision. Correct. And making millions of dollars, but he couldn't see that. So,
and another point with that, it was given to him. It was not something that he paid for. Right. It was something that was given to him. Right. And sometimes the things that are given to us, whether that be and whether that be a circumstance like a pandemic, yeah. And we look at it as all the negatives sides of it, and you don't really see the opportunity that's really there in front of you of what could be, what could come to fruition from this once you kind of weather the storm and make it through and have faith and all of these things. And it was just such a tangible. There were so many things that could be taken from that, whether the most obvious ones. And then there's so many layers to it.
Yeah, And so obviously put yourself in that position. Like you may look at an individual and or yourself and say like, look, I'm beat up. I have debt. I have all these different things going on, and it's I'm worth nothing. You know what I mean? Whether it's debt or whether you dropped out of school or whether the situation is you lost your job or you're about to lose your home, and you may think you may think that you're not worth anything, at that moment. Yeah. Meanwhile, God is looking at you, and I don't, I have to get spiritual, but he's looking at you for so much more. Yeah. He sees so much more in you. You know what I mean? And you could see so much more in yourself if you're not just focus on just what you're going through right now and step back. What can I do? What can you do with that property? What can you do with yourself that can, excel? You have no idea that you could be. Yeah. You don't know what's in store for you in the next year or two.
Yeah, 100%. Back on episode 2, you looked a lot like that house, and I was ready to sell you and go to a different real estate podcast. So
wow,
I'm glad.
He's good at change. I'm
glad I stuck around to wrap up.
That was a good wrap up.
Podcast number 4.
No, I don't want you to do it. No, I'm here to wrap up podcast number 4.
I'm glad I didn't get rid. I didn't get rid of you in episode 2.
Just to kind of put things all together. I'm not stealing this idea or not, but it's similar to, what I did in episode 2, but we came back.
Oh yeah, you almost threw away the whole thing, didn't you?
We almost threw away, but no, these are all my fresh ideas.
You almost threw it.
Yeah, we almost threw away the whole thing, and shut up. And we came back full circle, and now we're here, full circle. That's in episode 4, and it's doing great.
That's great.
I just kind of came up with this.
Good job.
It just came up with. Yeah, can I get a clap?
Slow clap.
Yeah, I want to just thank everybody, it just came to me, and
Good one, man.
Thank you. But anyways, guys, this is the end of episode 4. Did you have a good time?
I always have a mediocre time.
I'll let you know. When it's a blast? So you haven't passed mediocre yet.
I mean, it was what's like on the high. I had a high end mediocre time. If you're wondering
why he is not a host, it's for this reason. Why he's inferior, why you are the protege, is for this. You sat with me for what 45, 50 minutes,
Yes.
and you're saying it's a mediocre time.
Mediocre. I have so much higher expectation. I want to see the multi-level development and not just a new pool on that shack, sir.
No, but you gotta reward the journey. You gotta stop and look at the journey and be like, oh, we came from the second episode.
I took a dip in
where
the
we
pool.
almost bombed, and you took a dip in the pool. Good, that's fine. With your nephew. See how I came full circle? And on that note, on my note, we are going to wrap up the episode. Thank you guys so much. Obviously, Ask Clunis. Guys, when we get these questions, we need these questions in order to really get that segment going. So we're going to be relying on you to ask your questions. I know some of them, even if you feel like they're ridiculous, ask them. We'll try to get through them. We'll go back and forth. We'll do the research. Please ask your questions. Send them through DM. Send them when you see the Ask Clunis, in our stories. Go ahead and ask your questions because we're doing this for you.
Yep.
We love it. We enjoy it. I love talking about it, but I'm genuinely doing this to add value and bring value to people because I get a lot of the same questions and I'm answering them on an individual base, but I want to be able to answer them for the masses because everybody usually has the same questions or the same.
Yeah. And some people just don't know who to ask and are afraid to even message you. Like
exactly.
They don't know. They might think that they're not ready yet.
Right.
And we want this open platform gives them an opportunity to do
100%. So please ask your questions in Ask Clunis. You can send them to me anytime via DM, through Instagram or whether it's Facebook, whatever.
What's your Instagram, man?
My Instagram is Tristian Clunis, at Tristian Clunis, Tristian. Clunis is Clunis. What about yours, brother?
I'm at Weshype, WESHYPE. Please like, comment, subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you're not watching it on YouTube, there's probably a link in the bio right now. You can click and get over to YouTube and do the same thing. Like, comment, subscribe. Give us feedback. We're here trying to help.
You're doing a lot of points here. I'm not sure. So he's funny. He's doing this, subscribe, like. He knows that he's probably going to be the one to do. Yeah, you are the one to add in the button here because it's not me. So
the captain does that.
Do you know if it's not the captain, the co-captain? No, you're not even a co-captain. What is it? What is the person? Anyways, we're gonna wrap this session up. Love you guys. Remember, if you're clueless, ask Clunis. Have a great day.